you know, we had an audience here, let's say about somewhere between 150 and 200 people came out to see this. There were 6 candidates up there. If your message is so important and your passion is so palpable, is it not? Does it not behoove you to run? Why are you choosing the Green Party? As a matter of fact, what I want to ask. Why the
Oh
Green
boy,
Party?
there's a big one. Because it has, oh man, this is a big one. Well, originally the party that I founded myself that I was running was the Green Tea Party because, you know, as I spoke today about a synthesis between capital and social, which I think is the future and what needs to happen. I call it peopleism. I feel that that represents fully all the American people, the true 99% who know that this is just a scam from top to bottom. But I chose the Green Party because of ballot access, because I like the 10 key values of the Green Party. They're very good, they're very basic. I think everyone would agree if they'd read them, everyone agrees with them. You know, and only the worst of the elite would not agree with justice and end to slavery and those kind of things. But it is about ballot access, and the Green Party has been able to get more ballot access than any other party, and that's great. And you know, by my being endorsed by the Black Caucus of the Green Party, we are really working hard for ballot access in Georgia, a key state, Georgia. And you know, it's just kind of, I could see that this is the beginning of maybe a 20, 30-year thing. But I wanted to get a toehold. I want people to have a choice. I want people to have a choice with what's done with their money and where that money goes. And, you know, I want a public option. And neither of those other parties, they've totally taken that. They've taken the things that most Americans want totally off the table, and it's just, you know, pork for them, starting with the Electoral College, the capital of pork.
Knowing what little I do of residual checks, they probably put you in the 99%. Having been both in the 1%.
Everybody, I was never in the 1%, and I'm going to say this, that's a divisive tactic that Democrats use. And I'll tell you this, like I said out there, the 1% it means 3 million Americans, and power is concentrated in far fewer hands, and that's just a canard. Absolute power is concentrated in less than 1,250 hands, the richest billionaires in this country. That's the 1%, the people who can afford to buy congressmen like John Boehner who will do their bidding, and to buy all these lobbyists who pretend to be representing the American people. That's the real 1%, and that comes again down to the Electoral College, the richest of the rich, of which I don't have the money to buy a congressman. So, you know, let's not blame comedians. Let's go all the way up to the top of the elite bankers of the Federal Reserve, and that is where everything begins and ends. Every problem in our country, in fact in the world, begins and ends there.
And what of the people who would say to you, okay, I hear what you're saying, Roseanne, about the Electoral College, but if there were no Electoral College, nobody would go campaign in Wyoming, nobody would campaign in Kansas or Vermont.
How do you know?
Because the population centers.
No, I don't agree there. I think that the more that we activate democracy, and the more that the Green Party itself and these third parties get around and run at local levels all the way up, and I want to say that Green candidates are running at local levels from school board all the way up across the board. But we're going to get people to go to Wyoming, as you know, horrible as that sounds to East Coast people. Wyoming is a wonderful and gorgeous place.
Of course, I wasn't meaning to disparage Wyoming. I was just saying there are not very many voters there. So without the Electoral College,
I'll tell you what, that's not absolutely correct, because being from Salt Lake City, Utah, I know that the fact is that a lot of elections more and more are being won and lost in the western states, and when we, you know. And I talk about also capitalism being kind of a wild stallion, and you know, that's why they always have to have Bush and Reagan and all those guys dress up like fake cowboys, because the West really does, it helps to be a tastemaker, if you will, for all elections. And more and more and more, because that's where the growers are. That's where the wealth is in the western states. So that's where Cheney is, and that's where all these things, these no bid contracts are. So it's just all people better go to Wyoming. And you know, they're saying in this next election that either New Mexico or Wyoming is where it will possibly be stolen again, like it was stolen in Florida. So there's you know, It's way more important than anybody is talking about.
During the debate tonight or today, you said you talked about cutting aid to Israel.
I didn't say that.
Well, you said that if we took money.
No, I said for far less than the cost of the nuclear warheads, Israel could have created a job for all those Palestinians, could have, as I say, put the PAL back into Palestinian, and could have like a democracy that actually works for people with efficient government that is based on solutions. And that, you know, Israel now exists as the tip of the spear for Halliburton and American interests over there. It is a huge issue. It's not just about one little country. It's a huge issue, and again, an issue determined by a small elite group of international bankers called the Federal Reserve. So it all fits in together. I did not say that. I'm not going for that leftist thing, that complete leftist old thing. There's something else, and it's called a solution, and it can be reached in Israel, Palestine, and there can be peace. And, you know, we can get rid of nuclear weapons, and we can take the threat down rather than continually amping it up for profit. We can do that.
And President Barr, if she is in office, is going to be dealing with a Congress that is very accustomed to sort of kowtowing to Israel. How would you change the dialogue on that subject?
Well, I have done everything in my power to change that dialogue, and that's by writing, and you can read. I have had articles all over the place. I used to have a radio show on KPFK where I did talk about solutions for Israel-Palestine, and those same solutions are the same solutions that will work everywhere else in the world too. Fair pay for, you know, the Palestinians are Israel's labor force, and this is a labor issue. Like everything else on this planet, is actually a labor issue with a lot of different shading to it. But you know what? If you pay people decently and you give them, and you give your workers a decent place to live, clean water, schools, hospitals, people are going to like you a lot better. They just are. It's common sense.
And finally, are you going to sing the national anthem at your own inauguration?
I absolutely am, and if anybody wonders if I sing it, please go to, if I sing it better than I did a long time ago, please go to YouTube and watch me sing it quite well, I have to brag, on my old show called Roseanne's Nuts that was on a cable television. But I did sing it with the greatest of respect and feeling, and take a look. I'm very proud of it. And you know what? I am a good singer, and I probably will sing that for my inauguration. And right after that, I'm going to totally redecorate.